Hey, all right. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. Just a quick recap. My lady and I have been studying the book of Mark together, one chapter a day, day by day. Today we are starting Mark 13, and all of the previous chapters can be found in a playlist labeled New Testament on my channel. If you are wanting to dive into the Word, all the videos are less than 15 minutes, and that's kind of what I want to keep it at. Just devoting at least 15 minutes, hopefully devoting more to the Lord, but at least 15 minutes to read the Word. Yesterday, in the chapter 12, the Pharisees asked Jesus about taxes. They asked, what is the first commandment? Talked about the resurrection, the parable of the vine dressers, and we're moving into Mark 13. Jesus predicts the destruction of the temple. Then as Jesus went out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, Teacher, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Jesus answered and said to him, Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone shall be left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Mark 13 verse 3. So he's basically saying the total destruction of this temple. Moving on to verse 3, the signs of times and the end of age. I was talking to my mentor about this earlier today, actually, but it was in the book of Matthew, chapter 24. But verse 3, now, as Jesus sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign when all these things will be fulfilled? And Jesus answering them began to say, Take heed that no one deceive you. And he's speaking directly to us right now. For many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and will deceive many. But when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be troubled, for such things must happen, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be earthquakes in various places, and there will be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. But watch out for yourselves, for they will deliver you up to councils, and you will be beaten in the synagogues. You will be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony to them. And the gospel must first be preached to all nations. But when they arrest you and deliver you up, do not worry beforehand or premeditate what you will speak. But whatever is given you in that hour, speak that. For it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Now brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child, and children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who endures till the end shall be saved. Puts a very harrowing perspective. We will be betrayed by our brothers, our family, our friends. I'm assuming an authoritarian state of government who is ordering the persecution and execution of all Christians will be taking place at this time. That's my assumption, because that's the only reason why I would assume that a brother will betray his brother, and a father will betray his child, and a child their father. But don't worry. When they arrest you and deliver you up, do not worry beforehand or premeditate what you will speak. But what is given you in that hour, speak that. For it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Mark 13, verse 11. Not sure when these times will happen, but they're going to come, obviously. But make sure that you understand Mark 13, verse 11. Do not be afraid, for he who endures to the end shall be saved. Mark 13, verse 14, the Great Tribulation. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let the reader understand, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down into the house, nor enter to take anything out of his house. And let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in winter. For in those days there will be tribulation, such has not been since the beginning of creation which God created until this time, nor ever shall be. And unless the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he chose, he shortened the days. I'm assuming that's talking about a rapture. The elect's sake, for whom he chose, he shortened the days. Verse 21, then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or look, he is there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise to show signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. But take heed. See, I have told you all things beforehand. It's saying essentially what he's saying is when these tribulations happen, just run, flee. Don't go back to your home, collect your things, flee to the mountains, get out of there. Mark 13, verse 24, the coming of the Son of Man. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars of heaven will fall, and the powers of heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then he will send his angels and gather together his elect from the four winds, from the farthest part of earth to the farthest part of heaven. This is after the tribulation. So, during the Great Tribulation, it's telling people to run. Following the Great Tribulation is the return of Christ. The parable of the fig tree, Mark 13, verse 28. Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and put forth leaves, excuse me, unfortunate. Sorry about that. I think my body is trying to prevent me from speaking the word. Puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also know, when you see these things happening, know that it is near, at the doors. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. So it's saying, search for the signs and the seasons of the times. Mark 13, verse 32. No one knows the day or hour, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. It is like a man going to a far country, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to teach his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch. A lot of tribulation talk. My opinion about the tribulation, I believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. I think there's plenty verses to point out, and that I'll make a video about it someday. Some of the stuff that I found, some verses that have been pointed out to me. I believe that there is a pre-tribulation rapture. So the elect that are gathered into the clouds, I don't think that we'll have to deal with it. However, all of what we need to know is already in here. Run, flee to the mountains. There's not going to be anything like it that's ever happened or existed. So, yeah, thank you for joining. This was Mark 13. Mark 14 tomorrow. Counting, I think we have 3 chapters left, 14, 15, and 16. So I think 3 more days. Yeah, that would be 3 more days. That's all I have. The rest of Mark, like I said, 1 through 12 is available on a playlist called New Testament. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the community, and we'll see you next time.